So what can a man who was born in 4 BC teach us about fasting and building mental resilience in the year 2020? Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam Parsington. This is my second video on this channel. The first video was all about Winston Churchill and his technique of dealing with stress. In this video, we're going to talk about Seneca, who was a Roman philosopher, one of the greatest philosophers, in my opinion, in history. And we're also going to talk about fasting and the technique of utilizing fasting to build mental fortitude, to deliberately go without something that is abundant all around us, deliberately go without that and use it as a way to really strengthen our minds. And just very quickly, before we go any further, please, if you do enjoy the content on this channel, hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me. If you do so and I ever see you in the pub when we're allowed to go again, then I will buy you a pint. Now, there are multiple benefits to fasting, and there is a lot of content out there that will tell you in a lot of detail. There's videos, podcasts, books, articles littered across the digital space and the physical space that will tell you a lot about fasting from a health perspective. It is a fantastic technique, and we will touch on this a little bit later in this video. It's a great way to lose weight. There are I believe there's some science that indicates that there are anti-aging properties to fasting, and that you could potentially reverse aging slightly by doing it. That isn't the angle that I'm coming at it from in this video. This video is about utilizing the practice of fasting, going without food, to build mental fortitude. Because let's be honest, if you live in a Western country like me, and other countries around the world, there's some very now prosperous countries in Asia, and if you live in those countries, I think you're now, for most of us in those countries anyway, I think there is more of an issue of abundance as opposed to scarcity, and I think that's a privilege. Let's just take my country for example, living in Britain. That's a privilege of living in a modern European state, I suppose. We hear a lot about privilege, don't we? At the moment. It's not I don't want to enter into the culture war, but I hear a lot about white privilege. I think, look, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, or in between. If you live in the West, and you earn enough money, which most people, to be able to put food on the table, you're in a privileged position. You are privileged in the sense that there are lots of people around the world that would like to swap places with you. So at the moment, I currently aim to fast anywhere between about 30 to 34 hours. That's what my fast window looks like. And for those of you who are professional fasters, who fast, who've been fasting for a lot longer than I have, you'll probably laugh your tits off at that. I mean, take this guy, for example. I saw this on YouTube the other day. I think he did like a 30-day fast. But for the purpose of this video, for me, what I aim to do, and I think this is probably the best way to approach it, is I just aim to do like 1 day a week where I don't eat. So today is Thursday, and this is my fast day this week. So we're talking, it's now 5 to 10 on a Thursday. I've not eaten today, and I feel good about it. I normally do Fridays, but me and my wife are having a nice meal tomorrow. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll do it on Thursday today, and that's just what I do. So then you just go that day without eating. Now, of course, that sounds really daunting at first, and you have to build up to this. So the first time I tried to fast, I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna go to like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I slowly started to creep up and extend it, and as I say, now I'm comfortable doing a full day without food, and that's okay, and I feel good. By the way, if you do want to know more about the health benefits of fasting, this is a really good book, Dr. Gundry's Diet Evolution. Highly recommend it. There's a little bit in here on fasting and the thought process behind it, and then the approach from a health perspective. And there's a focus on the anti-aging elements and the the potential for fasting to combat serious diseases in later life and to reduce the chance of you contracting those diseases, things like cancer and stuff. There's a bit of a focus on that in there, so I do recommend that you read this book. So yeah, one of my favorite philosophers, Seneca, he would frequently put himself through bouts of scarcity deliberately, because he was a wealthy guy, Seneca was, and at that time in Rome he would have led, by their standards, a relatively comfortable life, apart from he was exiled as well, so that didn't help at one point. But he would, when he wasn't, he would put himself through periods of time where he would deliberately go without things, and he obviously did that to build resilience, to work on his self-discipline, and he approached it in the vein of to build upon himself, to make himself a stronger, more resilient person. And he didn't just sacrifice food either. He would deliberately walk around the streets in rags. He'd wear no shoes. He'd sleep on the floor for nights at a time, and he'd do this in anticipation for potential periods in his life when he would have to go without that stuff. It was almost like he was training and he was building his self-resilience in that way, and I think that's really powerful. Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating that you need to wander around town with no shoes on and a bed sheet and sleep on the kitchen floor for a fortnight. I'm not saying that. If I was making this video this time last year, the idea of society closing down would have been preposterous. But we've seen that things can get a little bit shaky. So, hopefully nobody watching this will ever go without food. But if you were put in a position where you had to go without food for a prolonged amount of time, if in the good times you have built that resilience up and you've gone without food for a day or a couple of days, however long you want to practice fasting for, at least you have something to call upon then. So yeah, if anyone ever asks why you would want to starve yourself for the entirety of a day or however long you want to do, well, I think you're doing it because you want to develop your resilience, a sense of achievement, and also you never know when you may need to go without food. And another thing that's intriguing is if you look at every culture that has existed, every major religion, the vast majority of them have some kind of fasting practice. So humans have done this for a long, long time, and I think because of that, that's another reason why it's a worthy endeavor for the modern world. So yeah, if you wanted some advice from this video on whether or not you should fast, my advice would be that you should, for a myriad of different reasons. Health, if you want to lose weight, but the most important one, in my opinion, and the reason why I do it, is to increase my resilience. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you already fast, let me know what you do, how you do it, for how long you do it. It'd be great to get some feedback and interaction. I will do my best to respond to every comment that I get. So thanks for watching again. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.